There are 4 or 5 things that if you learn about YouTube, every time you post a video, you have a good chance of it being seen by the right people, having people watch a great deal of that video, and either feeling or doing what you want them to do and hope that they do. Whether that's learn or that's like understand who you are or take your brand message and say it to someone else or even purchase something. All of those things. You might have noticed that I did some videos about Your First Million Live leading up to it. There were ticket sales from that. There were people who understood who some of the guests were that they didn't know before because of that. There are certainly a lot of people afterward who are learning more about it through video. So there are certain things that I have distilled down that I have learned. And some of it has to do with what's here, right? So it's about, you might hear people talking about thumbnails and hooks and titles and even the description SEO. Let me ask you this question. In the Q&A, you let me know what your answer is here. What is the number one, and don't look it up now. What is the number one search engine in the world? And I want you to tell me what the number 2 search engine in the world is too. What is the number 1 and what is the number 2? If you don't know it, you don't have to guess. You can play along if you want though. So I'm seeing, I don't know if this is 1 or 2, but I'm seeing Google and YouTube, Google and YouTube, TikTok and YouTube, Google and Yahoo, Safari, Pinterest, Amazon. These are all really, really great guesses and answers. The number 1 search engine in the world is Google. Makes sense, right? The number 2 search engine in the world is YouTube. The number 2 search engine in the world is YouTube. People are constantly, every second of every day, looking for how do I do this? What is this? What does this mean? So if you think about what you do and what you offer and what you know, think about how you could turn that information into a video and have the world at your feet have the chance for somebody to see that. That's where things get super interesting, right? Yes, 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 yes. So, and I'm getting these messages. So, again, I learned a few things. Now, one thing I learned, especially if you're thinking about monetization, I don't know if anybody caught up here 13,000 views, $196. That's cool. I love that YouTube pays you to be on its site, essentially, if you get monetized and the requirements are here. I love that. But my suggestion is that you do not only look at the AdSense monetization as the way to make money on YouTube. It just won't be enough. But you don't want to just say I don't want to do that because it's not enough. You want to have a little bit coming in from that. The way that you do it is you need to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours within a 12-month period, back to back. It's easier than it sounds. There are a lot of little hacks to that are, legit hacks. When I say hacks, little tips. And I got monetized. I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was this year. And you can see sort of the money that's being made. Now, another caveat is that it's not the same amount of money for every channel. In fact, it's different for every channel. It depends on your niche of your channel, if you have one. And it depends on the retention. It depends on the length of video and how many ads are in it. It depends on a lot of different things. Again, these are things that I've learned that I can quickly teach you, right? Hooks and titles. So does anybody not know what I mean when I say hook? If you don't know what I mean when I say that, put that in the chat. Yeah. No, so I want to make sure. So it's interesting. So Tiffany said you're monetized this year and you already made over 100,000. Wow. I can understand why you think that. I said earlier that I've already made more than 6 figures via YouTube. And I said I also am monetized. But I did not make six figures by that type of monetization. That's why there's many ways to monetize YouTube, and the AdSense directly through Google and YouTube is one way. There are other ways. So that's what I mean by that, right? But I have made that. And I made it with like 80% of it was through like the not spending money to do it, right? So I spent all this money to learn, and I know that I'm going to get my ROI on that. I already have, because I'm going to be able to teach that. But you can skip that part, is what I'm saying, if you learn just a few things. And nobody said that didn't know what a hook is, so I'm going to keep moving on. But hooks and titles, thumbnails, the topic of your video, all of these things matter. And going back to YouTube being the largest search engine, in a second largest search engine in the world, there's a really important reason I mention that when it comes to your topic, your title, your thumbnail. Okay, so this is another behind the scenes. And again, I just did this like today, this afternoon. I just did this screenshot. In the last 28 days, I have had more than 50,000 views. And again, it's every minute they're going up. So it'd be different if we looked at it now. It'd be, 50,500 or whatever. Watch time, thousands of hours, 2.8 thousand subscribers. Let's stop there for a second. 2.8 thousand subscribers in 28 days, an average of 100 new subscribers per day. And it even says it's 2.1 thousand more than usual, meaning the last 28 days, or the average of the last few months. So I reached 10,000 subscribers a couple of weeks ago, but 61% of those subscribers happened since January 1st. And approximately 28% happened within those 30 days prior. So what that means is, not only am I gaining new subscribers, but there is a compounding thing happening where the more I post, the more archived videos I have, the more people see the older videos and the newer videos, the faster subscribers start to stack. 4.7K watch hours, exclamation point. Do I need to make longer videos? Most of my videos are short. Someone else said, thank you for this. I'm hopping off, but this is the right on time topic. So that question about what the length of your video, all of these questions are things that I can certainly help you with. Give you the quick answer, because I am going to give you an opportunity to join a couple of courses that I have, and it's a cohort really, where we're doing live stuff. But the quick answer to that is that there is no quick answer about the length of your video. The biggest experts in the world when it comes to YouTube don't have an exact answer, because things change on YouTube quite often. And it really does also matter what you're trying to accomplish. But the biggest takeaway, and I did an interview last week with Nolan Molt from Think Media, and I put it in the course. And what he said was, the biggest takeaway is, film the length that you need to film to get your point across. Don't try to embellish so that you can have a longer video, so that it can maybe get more retention or maybe more ads. Don't make it so short that you couldn't get everything out, and people are left bewildered. That's the right amount of time, which I think is really interesting. And there's a lot more to that, but that's the short answer. So going back to this, 11,000 subscribers, I probably screenshotted this 2 hours ago. But I wanted to show you this. On April 11th, I had 8,159 subscribers. If I were to look at my YouTube right now, I probably have 11,050, right? Because it's every minute there's something happening. This is almost 3,000 subscribers. So it's 2,800, an average of 100 per day. And when you do the calculus there, it starts to get super, super interesting. Um, okay, so what I want to do now, you know about me, you know what I've done. I want to talk about you. That's why we're here, because I can talk about myself all the time. I do anyway. But I want to talk about you all. Think about yourself. Think about the poll we took earlier, if you were here, and think about what you do. Like, what do you do? Who are you? What is your story? What have you done? What have you seen? What have you experienced and learned? Do you have a brand? Do you have a company? You may work for a company and not have a brand, but you are the brand. You know, we learned that from Gary Vee at Your First Million Live, and from ourselves. We know that. So there's some benefits. Some personal branding. You, let's say you're a doctor. Let's say you are an educator. Let's say you are in the beauty industry. The list goes on and on. You can help establish yourself as an authority and thought leader in your niche and dominate your niche. You could also generate revenue, and I mentioned that there's ways to do that through YouTube directly through their AdSense once you're monetized, but that's maybe 10% of what I'm talking about, if that, maybe even less. There are other ways to monetize. And you can research any of the topics that I'm talking about, by the way, you can actually search for them on YouTube. So you don't, it's at your fingertips, all of this information. It just takes a lot of time to go through it and to learn who you trust, your trusted voice. But it's there, which is so interesting, right? You can also build community. Going back to that picture of me with the group last night, at least a quarter of them told me that they, on their own, I didn't ask, but at least a quarter of them came up to me and said, "Hey, I just saw this YouTube video of yours," or "I found you via YouTube." As much as I post on Instagram, LinkedIn, mailing lists, everywhere, YouTube is that breath of fresh air. People are coming in fresh. And not only are they coming in fresh, but they're getting to know you, in a deeper way. You can repurpose content, you can develop your skills, and again, it's just a marketing opportunity like no other. Um, you got some decisions to make. You got some decisions to make. I'm going to come to your questions in a second here. You need to understand, I mean, you don't need to do anything, but if you're here, if you're still here, there's something going on, right? But you need to understand if you want to monetize. Do you want YouTube to make money for you? Do you want to have more impact? Do you want to get your brand recognition, just like the survey said? Also need to make decisions about your time commitment. YouTube, it's what you make of it. So you can spend hours and hours and hours a week on YouTube, especially if you start to understand the direct impact of what that looks like. Do you have to have like a patience to see results? You can see results pretty quickly. You can see some results pretty quickly. Like, for instance, someone in my YouTube course, I think she might be here. But someone in my YouTube course posted, I haven't looked recently, but in the last couple of days, the first day I saw they had 150 views. And I thought that was really amazing because like they only had a few subscribers. So anytime you look at a YouTube video and there are more views than subscribers, that means that video has struck a nerve. And that means maybe 5 subscribers and 100 views, or it could be 50,000 subscribers and 1,000,000 views. That means something has struck. So if you look at your videos and say, if you've posted any, it's okay if you haven't, but you say, okay, I'll have more views than I have subscribers, something struck a nerve. And then there's the idea of like, who is your target audience? My target audience is I want to be very specific with you. Target audience is black women 35 to 55 who have had some success, who do not feel that their bank account matches that success and doesn't match their ambition, or if it does, they don't have enough impact. They don't feel like they're making enough impact. Now, some of you are going to be like, whoa, she just saw me. How did she see through this computer? Some of you, right? But some of you are going to be like, well, that's not me. I'm not black, or I'm not a woman, or I'm not that age, or I my bank account looks different. Your target audience, your target audience is who you're talking to through that camera. The other people who get to see it, it's wonderful. Like if you think back to your first million live, the majority in the audience were Black women that age. Did you notice that? And then there was so much diversity outside of that. Younger, older, different uh, races and genders and all the things. So you create. The reason I'm able to bring that group of people yesterday and we get along so well and people are exchanging phone numbers, and I know there'll be things that happen from that, from 20 people to 2,000, is because I'm very clear on who my target audience is, who that person is I'm talking to through the lens, even today, even now. And then you attract other good people, other great people, right? So I have people in the Q&A saying, "That's me, that's me, that's me." Yeah, there's a reason you're here. So these are some of the decisions that you get to make now. Um, and you can put in the Q&A here what you would like to talk about on YouTube. Like, what do you think your niche is or your target audience? It's okay if you don't know it now. I mean, that's the thing. Like, it takes a little while to figure that out. It's like developing your thesis as an investor, which is what I do. So let me go back to these questions while you're thinking about that. Um, what was your upload schedule? How often did you post videos? So that's something that we talk about in the course very, very diligently. But basics of it are, by and large, it doesn't happen all the time, but by and large, I post every Monday, and sometimes I'll post on a Wednesday or Thursday. So you would see for a while. This week actually is the first week that we missed a Monday. Just for there was some technical difficulty, but you'll see that for a while I had Monday, and then I started adding Thursdays, and the Mondays would be more like straight to camera teachings, and then the Thursdays would be vlog style. So if you go to yourfirstmillion.tv, or write that down for later, yourfirstmillion.tv, you can see all of my videos. Go study what I'm doing. Check out where things change. Check out where the thumbnails change. I'm in fact going back and fixing some of my thumbnails, right? See what happened. Now, what's also interesting, and I want anyone who's not paying attention to really hear me on this one. I have seen some of my videos where I've paid a lot of money to have somebody come in and film me, and I've been glammed up and da 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 da. I've seen those do really well because they've been very specific, bullet points out. These are the topics. This is the title. Da da da. The thumbnail is amazing. And I've also seen where I've just opened the laptop, had on my $2 Amazon shirt because I have like packs of those. Maybe brushed my hair that day and started filming, and I've seen those do well. And that's because it really comes down to the content. Did someone feel like they wasted their time looking at this video? That's it. That's really what it comes down to. Then there are these other little pieces to it that are, once you learn them, you can't unlearn them, and you know what to do next with your video. Let me see if there are other questions. Oh, I actually see people are saying target audience executives at $500 million plus companies, event organizers who book and pay for speakers. I love that. And that, I mean, YouTube is, I hope you're on YouTube. And if you're not like posting on YouTube, today is the day you have to with that, because even like I know you're on LinkedIn, but you just imagine every single day you're attracting. And so there are just immeasurable amounts of topics you could talk about that are all about that you become known for this. You become the go-to person, even beyond what I know that you are. Let me see. How important is the visuals around your video? Your backgrounds are cool and interactive. Have you found that has helped more? No. So Alex Hermosi, who is a successful entrepreneur and YouTuber, very successful on YouTube, he recently came out with a video maybe 2 weeks ago where he had put millions. He's put $4 million into his YouTubing, and he said that he has this green screen in the studio and all kinds of animations coming from people who are at Disney, and it's just crazy, right? What he does. And he said those do not, after they've tested it over a year, those do not perform as well as him simply speaking to camera in a dark room teaching people something. So it's about the compelling. So I, you, well, one of the rules is that if people can't hear you well, then they'll turn off the video. So your sound is actually really, really important. Your sound is really, really important. So can't be out there with the wind blowing and you can kind of hear you, or you have your headphones on and you can kind of hear you. If you have bad sound, people can't forgive that. If you have just okay video, they forgive that a little bit more. That's been proven. Let's see. If your company brand has two founders who in faces who are very different from each other, one's a senior citizen and an elder millennial, another's an elder millennial, how do you balance that with deciding on your target audience? Apologies if this is not a good question for this event. It's no, don't apologize. It's a really interesting question. There are a few things I won't be able to get into right now, but definitely these are the type of questions we have when we do our cohort. Like when we jump on these weekly calls for our cohort for YouTube, we have these type of in-depth questions. But I would just say, um, there's the option of you both being the face at the same time. So it's a conversation. I think that could be quite compelling. I don't think you have to separate and one goes over here, one goes over there. And this is, we're talking about YouTube now, but you're talking about like who's my target audience. Um, I think one thing you can do is look at who has purchased from you in the past. Start to really put together a list of who has purchased from you in the past and what are their demographics and psychographics. Like what does the data already tell you? And yes, it can be varied, but what is it, where is it like you're seeing the most? And what things do you do or say or put out into the world that cause people to act and start to kind of back into what that might mean. So it's super compelling. Um, I know so much about business, but I don't know what to post about. Yeah, that's something that takes a while. But because I've learned all these things, those things are easier for me to look at and help you with. Thanks to the Spark program, I learned my target customer. Her name is Sarah Johnson, and she's 32 and a single mom. I love that. Spark program. If you're not in my Spark program, you get which is now the masterclass. You get 3 months for free just for signing up for my mailing list. So if you're already on the mailing list, or if you don't know how to sign up to it, just send me an email, arlan@arlanwashere.com. I will help you get signed up. But that we go in depth there. It's like $30 a month if you don't go through the website, go through the mailing list. And we go in depth on how do you find your target customer. Thank you for reminding me, Tiffany. I appreciate that. Someone else wrote that they have kids content. Someone else says, I've used Vimeo before for hosting all my videos. Then I share the links elsewhere. I have some on YouTube, but I need to transfer all of my back catalog to YouTube. Now I'll be posting original content and repurposed content on YouTube. Yeah, interesting. Like you do want to have archive. You don't necessarily need to do it all at once. YouTube goes a little bonkers if you confuse it, but you could have like a schedule for yourself. You can say, okay, over the next 30 days, I'm going to post 30 videos and I'm going to post them one at a time with a lot of thought in, again, my thumbnail, my title, my description, the topic, why it matters. So don't just post for posting's sake. You know, it needs, you want people to be able to go to your YouTube channel and know what you do, know what you're trying to say to them. If you have just this and that and this and that, it's not worth it. So I would go to your Vimeo page and look at, say, what is a through line that I can actually post? I don't need to post everything.